Never met a dragon I liked. I don't know. Just, never met one. Starting to think they don't exist. Folks, we really need to start asking with regards to the dragon race, is it really racism if it's justified? Anyway, I guess I should, get to the whys. Sure. The Fatui pulled down the moon in Nod-Krai. Why? Ineffa stated the moon wheels, visions of Nod-Krai, were made by the usurper and the 3 moon goddesses who abandoned the dragon race. Why? Nope, that's it. Look, it's an epilogue quest, right? Okay, we can start. The story starts at the Flower Feather fucking clan. Chaska and Aoife are standing over a rather small pterodactyl that Chaska found hurts and Aoife is patching up. The bird was put down by secret source automatons, which have been unusually aggressive as of late. As to that Jesus, we offer to help take out some secret source automatons, and thus we go off. Yet before then, we get a mysterious flashback to just a while earlier, showcasing a woman collapsing while stating she must find the Traveler and Paimon and then return home. We shortly arrive on the scene, take out the automatons, and have Aoife check on the girl, but Aoife says there isn't much he can do because she's not a human, she's a robot.
Robo-bitch.
A robo-bitch once again says the names of the Traveler and Paimon, and Aoife reveals a cryptex that has a message locked inside that was on the machine's person, and also has a drawing of the Traveler and Paimon, meaning the message is for us. The cryptex is locked by a code, and the only way to get the code is by asking the machine. So we take the machine to Shilonen, but not before getting a shot of a Fatus watching over us. Shilonen was in the middle of looking for a way to combat all these secret source automatons for Mawika. Shilonen, the master, presses one button and Ineffa immediately awakens, patting herself on the back for delivering the message to us. When we ask if she knows the code for the device, she says that memory is missing. We ask for her name, she says the memory is missing. Lots of amnesia. I once watched a porno with the same premise. Shilonen theorizes that Ineffa might not have lost her memories, but simply can't access them due to a curse that may have been placed on her by whoever sent her to ensure the robot stays focused on the mission. Every time Ineffa tries to remember something, it causes her pain to stop her from trying to remember. We question why this curse is so antithetical to Ineffa's mission, but Shilonen states there isn't a way to know that without knowing what the curse is. We try to find out where Ineffa's home is, and we learn it isn't Fontaine, Mondstadt, or Notlon. The robot says home is simply home, summons a broom hand, and Shilonen asks Ineffa to clean up her workshop, which Robo-Bitch does. While cleaning, Ineffa comes across a scroll of Lianka and Ishqua, who were the respective founders of the Flower Feather clan and the Children of Echoes clan. Back in the day, Ishque disabled many ancient machines and kept notes on them, but her research has since gone the way of the dodo bird. When we ask what happened, Chaska responds Archon of Ochkanotlon. Once Archon went full tyrant, Ishque killed herself and burned her research to prevent Archon from getting it. Small bits of her research was, however, salvaged by Lianka. Before founding the Flower Feather fucking clan, Lianka was raised by a dragon. Ineffa hears this while staring at Lianka's image, and while staring, we hear a voice in Ineffa's mind that tells her this is not the way, and calls Ineffa a malfunction who betrayed us all, questioning why she seeks a place to belong. Ineffa then goes haywire, and mere seconds later, Kane shows up and reveals he's accepted a commission, and Ineffa is his target. Ineffa tightens her hand into a fist. Paimon begs Kanich to wait, and he reveals he was tasked by merchants to find their missing friend. So we bring Ineffa to them. Oh yeah, the people reveal the robot's name is Ineffa. I guess it's just now we were supposed to learn this, but that game's the game. Ineffa doesn't recognize them, and they dismay at the fact that Ineffa's memory is gone once again. Chaska notes this group has more fucking diversity than a stock photo at a corporate meeting, and Shilonen asks if they made Ineffa, but they say no, she was made by Ino. Ineffa then recalls this Ino's voice, granting her her name, and also telling Ineffa that she must come home, but the memory is cut short by her inner voice once more. The group reveals they are all from Nod-Krai and are leaving because Nod-Krai is on the brink, thanks to the Fatui moving in recently. Another member of the group remarks the Fatui have pulled the entire moon down. Then, another chimes in about an incident with moon statues, which should simply just be in reference to the fact that the Fatui have been caging up all the statues of the moon goddess Columbina. So as a result, these band of pussies decided to run for the hills. Ineffa's case is a bit different, however. The only reason she's in Not-Lan is to find her missing memories. When Ino first built Ineffa, Ino could never figure out where Ineffa's core came from. At the start, Ineffa would only forget small things, like adding salt to a dish, but over time, her memory loss got worse, like the time Ineffa forgot her own strength and brought down a wall while sweeping the floor. As a result, Ineffa has been trying to find a way to repair herself, and when she noticed her core bore similarities to the secret source automatons of Not-Lan, she decided to head to Not-Lan. We all decide to help Ineffa, so we tell the plebeians, just stay a little while in Not-Lan, see what happens. Kanich heads off with Ahau, who's acting strange. Kanich picks up on this and presses Ahau for answers, who doesn't reveal anything, but in his thoughts, he questions his memories and expresses disbelief at the real identity of Ineffa, before stating this isn't his problem. A few days pass, and the kids want to say goodbye to Ineffa by giving her a gift, because they like Ineffa. We find Ineffa outside the ruins of Archon Not-Lan fighting some secret source automatons. We hand Ineffa the gift the kids made for her, which was just a robot flower. While explaining to her the significance of gifts, Ineffa recalls a memory of Lianka gifting her a flower before Ineffa was to set out on her journey. Ineffa questions if she can stay, but Lianka says no. Lianka tells Ineffa not to worry, as she has no plans to go to war with him being Archon of Archon Not-Lan. She states Archon's situation of being half human and half dragon isn't terribly different from Ineffa's. Lianka then says Ineffa, but then quickly corrects herself to she was once the enemy of humankind, and that Archon won't distinguish between Ineffa and her, and he'll simply see Ineffa and her as the same being, and he will then be after her. Important to note, Archon of Archon Not-Lan only hates the dragons, so what does this really mean? Lianka finally tells Ineffa to find a new place to belong, before the memory is interrupted once again by a diabolical voice calling Ineffa the malfunction who betrayed us all. We awaken Ineffa, who's zoned out again, and silently wonder why it is every time Lianka is mentioned, Ineffa recalls a memory. We then take Ineffa to go say goodbye to the child who's leaving. Ineffa gets all, philosophical, and back at the Flower Feather Clan, we find Citlali waiting for us, who reveals Kanich used enhanced interrogation techniques to find out what Ahau knows about Ineffa. Following 13 hours of waterboarding, true fact by the way, Ahau spoke but 2 words, which were sovereign ruler. This is the title of the 13 dragon lords who once ruled Not-Lan under Shiaka-Waddle. They were forms of AI made by the Pyro Sovereign using secret source technology, and pretty much all of them died when Xbalanque went to war against them, except for Ahau. He's the last one still standing. Doing a lot of heavy lifting there. As for which of the 13 Ahau was, odds are he doesn't remember. Ahau seemed caught off guard by the core in Ineffa's chest, which was that of a fellow sovereign ruler's, meaning Ineffa could be one of the 13 dragon lords. This, coupled with the fact that the name Lianka always stirs something within Ineffa, causes Citlali to inform the group that Lianka was actually raised by a sovereign ruler, the 8th, priestess of floral candles and skyborn feathers. She didn't die in the war against Xbalanque, no, she was executed by the other sovereign lords for secretly raising a human in Lianka. Ineffa asks how the 8th lord died, but Citlali has not a clue. Citlali does, however, reveal a curse that was placed on the 8th lord by the other dragons.
If she truly harbors pro-human sentiment, then for every ounce of goodwill she feels, may her mind be flooded with pain of immeasurable proportions.
Citlali tells the traveler to grab some scrolls, and in a manner that could only convince dipshits that nothing is up, in front of everyone takes our hand and tells us via telepathy to sneak off and meet up with her for important information. We do as she commands and find Xilonen with Citlali, who in tandem reveal it might not be the 8th sovereign ruler Ineffa is related to, but rather the 11th. This is problematic because the 11th ruler was the most loyal follower towards Shiaka-Waddle, and as a result, hated humanity the most. The dragon's final battle was said to be against Lianka, and Ishque. Due to Ineffa's lack of a reaction at the mention of the 8th Lord, they worry about what will happen if they bring up the 11th Lord around Ineffa. Following Shiakawaddle's death, the 11th Lord fell into insanity and disappeared from history. If Ineffa really is the 11th Lord, then she must not be allowed to recover her memories, or else we must put the bitch down. Shaska then interrupts by revealing she tailed us here. See, Lolly is baffled. She saw through her flawless deception, but Shaska reveals she is not a dumbass. Gilonen continues. Since Ineffa has arrived to Notlon, all the secret source automatons have been going haywire. Shaska talks them all down though, going, hey, give Robo bitch a chance. Paimon then moseys on over, revealing that while Ineffa was reading through the woven scrolls, she put him down, shouted annihilation mode activated, and jumped into the fucking sky! We scramble to find Ineffa and eventually locate her defending the family from earlier from secret source automatons. After we take out the automatons, we see the Fatui from earlier who are becoming frustrated about her, referring to Ineffa. Head Honcho stares at the device in his hands and recalls some words from Sandrone, which speak of a relic from Notlon's ancient dragon civilization, as well as warning him to be wary of the unpredictable variable, in this case meaning the Traveler. He then makes the call to retreat. Ineffa only got here in time because she can now hear the secret source automatons talking. She hooks one up to her little robot to allow it to speak to us. The automaton reveals they only attacked because they are under the Fatui's control. We quickly rule out the captain's soldiers being behind this, and the automaton continues. The Fatui invaded her territory recently, causing the automatons to go nuts. They now have control of the automatons. The robot then calls Ineffa the mirror of the dawning morn and asks her to return her core so she can repair the damage done by the Fatui. Ineffa then reveals before the translation began, the robot calls her the 11th Lord. We question the validity of this, but the robot states all we must do is return to the 8th Lord's territory and we can restore all of Ineffa's memories. The dad of the family then reveals he knows a thing or two about the Fatui regiment that's recently shown up. They are a special ops team searching for secret knowledge about ancient civilizations. The leader of this regiment is none other than Sandrone, the 7th ranking Fatui harbinger. When we ask how this man knows all this, he says he simply heard it's in Nasha Town. As Shaska prepares to head back to the Flower Feather clan, the little robot reveals the dad's picture is in the Fatui strongholds, meaning he works for the Fatui. As a result, we decide to stay behind and tail the dad with Ineffa, hoping he'll lead us to the Fatui, and he does. The Fatui have made the 8th Sovereign Lord's territory their stronghold. The robot tells us long ago it was sealed by Lianka to prevent Archon from finding it, but recently, the Fatui found a weak point and broke through. While we weren't paying attention, Ineffa slipped into the territory, so we follow suit. The robot reveals it temporarily hijacked Ineffa to force it into the territory. We then question who the robot really is, and they reveal they are the 8th Lord. We question why she isn't dead, given she was executed, but she says Lianka saved her at the last moments. The 8th Lord then states Lianka changed Ineffa's memories to force her to forget everything in a bid to protect her from the curse that afflicts the dragons with pro-human sentiments called Exile's Curse. Ineffa was then apparently rebooted at some point and began storing new memories, but the Exile's Curse would then resurface. We then ask the big question: who actually cursed Ineffa? But are interrupted by the defense system, causing us to go further into the territory to reawaken the 8th Lord. We quickly clock Ineffa has been in this territory before and ride a stone dragon to a research facility that was built by the 8th Lord and sealed by Lianka and Ishque. We scramble to hide from some Fatui, and before long find the dad confronting the Fatui, asking them why they're attacking him. They sort of just go, yeah, because we're evil, and devil worshippers, and really love crack cocaine. Now, it's actually because the dad's mission objective was to bring Ineffa to them, and he's failed to do so thus far. The Fatui are trying to capture the 11th Lord. Dad says his only mission was to bring Ineffa to Notlon. The Fatui then present a device to Dad, made by Marionette, that will allow him to capture Ineffa. Dad says he can't do it because Ineffa has saved him too many times now, and it would be the ultimate betrayal. They get ready to kill the man. We step in, but this is all part of the Fatui's plan, and we walked right into their trap. The Fatui reveal they need the 11th Lord to access the core of the research facility. The 8th Lord then reawakens, takes control of her territory, and whooshes us down below, and also no longer needs the robot to speak to us. Everything down here is under the 8th Lord's control, so the automatons are now friendly to us. The 8th Lord asks Ineffa to recall. This is where she was reborn. The 8th Lord finally answers our question of who cursed Ineffa, and the answer is herself. Following the defeat of the dragons, the 11th Lord was lost and had nowhere to go. They could either strike back at mankind, or simply find a new place to belong. So, their mind splits into two different beings. One that wanted to end humanity, and the other that just wanted a new home. It was then the 8th Lord placed the exile's curse upon herself and Ineffa, who became the malfunction, who became the one who wanted to find a new home. Ineffa sought help from Lyanka and Ishkwa and came to the 8th Lord's territory to be reborn. The 8th Lord reveals that to the other half, the 11th Lord, they sealed its mind away until she perished thousands of years ago. Ineffa then pieces the Black Void as the exile's curse from the 11th Lord. The 8th says, in order to fully sever Ineffa's connection to the 11th Lord and break off the curse, she must be rebuilt from scratch, here and now. This is what was happening originally with Ineffa, but before she could be fully rebuilt, Ishkwa killed herself because of Archon, causing Lyanka to seal the territory and send Ineffa out of Notlon. But for the last 2,000 years, the 8th Lord has been here waiting for the malfunction to return to finish rebuilding. If you didn't get all that, here's a Paimon explainer, I guess.
So, basically, there was a bad robot who bugged out and turned into half good bot, half bad bot. Then, bad bot cursed good bot, so whenever good bot thinks about the idea of belonging, she gets headaches. Meaning, the only way that Ineffa can avoid the pain is to keep forgetting everything.
We head down and eventually link up with the extremely friendly and non-suspect looking 8th Lord. The 8th Lord tells Ineffa to stand before her so she can rebuild her. Ineffa does, and the 8th Lord finally gets a good look at the exile's curse. Ineffa relays her experience with the curse. It's like the 8th Lord then finishes her statement for her like someone's controlling it, which is normal because it's now in the presence of its owner and creator, the sovereign ruler. Ineffa's confused, but then the exile's curse greets the 11th Lord. Given all this is happening in Ineffa's mind, we don't know what's going on, but the Fatui mosey on in, and before we can do anything, Ineffa takes action.
Unnecessary.
What the? Traveler!
Missed by a hair's breadth. But now you are wounded, and this time you will not escape.
Ineffa reveals the 8th Lord really did die all those years ago, and this malfunction will meet the same fate. There was never an 8th Lord just now. All this time, it was the 11th Lord pretending to be the 8th. We then get a flashback of Lyanka standing before both halves of the 11th Lord. The smaller one, of course, being Ineffa 2,000 years ago. The 11th Lord is attempting to convince Lyanka that the malfunction is evil, and destroying her will rid the 11th Lord of all its hostilities. This is all a ploy by the 11th Lord, which Lyanka saw through and sealed the 11th Lord here with the help of the malfunction. The 11th Lord is still angry about it today, but all she's after right now is Ineffa's core. Ineffa then takes control of her body for a couple of seconds.
My core!
One of the Fatus awakens, revealing he's a robot. Good on you, man. He reawakens the 11th Lord, we fight it once more, and Ineffa kind of just wakes up and overloads the curse of exile with 2,000 years worth of memories.
Maybe no single nation is our home. Where exactly is home to you?
Searching your memories? The curse is still active. This will only hasten your demise.
We're all from Nod-Krai.
Cross the ocean, find a new place to belong.
What an amazing machine. Where are you from?
Such a hard worker. Fancy making this your new home?
The wild hunt! Look out!
Impossible. Where is this data from?
From now on, your name's Ineffa. Promise me. Remember, you have to come home.
Return.
Data. Overload. Capacity exceeded. As long as this gem's around, the heart that Ishkik built you should keep beating away. It may take centuries, even millennia, but one day, may your new memories transcend your pain and rage to conquer the curse that shackles you.
What kind of gem is it?
Nothing special, really. To quote my mother, it's nothing but an empty shell now. But if you break free of the curse, then maybe...
Huh?
Nothing. An interesting idea suddenly occurred to me. Let's make this the final secret key.
The final secret key is...
Impossible!
The territory begins collapsing, so we make a break for it and explain to the others what happens. We part ways, open the secret message from earlier, which is just a letter from Varka, inviting us for drinks when we get to Nod-Krai. After the quest, you can ask Ineffa some questions, who reveal some pretty interesting things with regards to moon wheels, which is, they were built by the usurper and the three gods who abandoned us. Us, meaning the dragons. Three gods, meaning the moon sisters. And the usurper, meaning the sky reaver.